Thank you very much, Mr. Ranawaka. Thank you for the four speakers, and thank you for the presentation. I learned three common points from your presentation: a clear spatial vision, stronger regional coordination, and realistic implementations, including project finance and monitoring. Across the four presentations, there is also a strong emphasis on having the right legal and institutional framework and alignment planning with broader national development priorities. And resilience is now a core part of regional planning, not a separate topic. Now let's turn to the panel discussion and explore solution and good practice. And in the panel discussion, unfortunately, the time is very limited, so we cannot invite any questions from the floors. So if you have any question to the panelists, please contact them in the networking session after the conference. So in this discussion, I have one question. And the question is, what are the main challenges in preparing and implementing regional plans? And you may have already talked in your presentation, but for the discussion, please talk it again. And we will follow the same order as the presentation, and each speaker has 2 minutes. So let's start with Japan, Kawana-san.
So population going down and the falling birth rate and the shortage of workers and the promotion of digital transformation, carbon neutrality, and the disaster mitigation. So we are faced with the various types of the challenges and the remote islands and the mountainous areas. So depending on the circumstances surrounding the local, we have to set forth the future direction for the development, but also it is very important to be the consensus because there are many, the wide range of the stakeholder, but so the consensus building is also a challenge. So the living sphere with the population of 100,000 and the smallest unit such as the villages and the major city or urban centers. So each area has a specific role. So we have to clarify what are the roles. And also we have to build a network among those players in order to build up the capacity as one single entity of Kyushu. As I mentioned earlier about our plan for TSMC area Kumamoto, so we have to move ahead with the plan I just talked about, and so that we can build up more strong the industrial capacity in the Kyushu.
Carlos. How about in Bangladesh, Mr. Awal?
Thank you. In my presentation, I have already articulated the problem facing right now in Bangladesh, and actually all of these are same in South Asian countries. The problem is that actually the control from the hierarchy, that which department, suppose one department from local government, one department from public works department, and another from city corporation. Whenever they conduct a planning, or suppose they are under their ministry or department, and they are taking their benefit, and they have already, suppose that, taken the project, whether it is aligned with the SDG, whether it is aligned with our national special planning, that's different issues, but every department wants that, yes, I have to focus on my development. And there's a reckless development which are going in our country, actually, before enacting the Special Planning Act in 2025. You know that this is a milestone act that imposes penalties on such reckless development without approval from the hierarchy. Actually, especially in Bangladesh right now, in this act, that the Minister of Housing and Public Works, headed by him, and other minister and secretary also. First, the approval should come from this higher actually body, and if any problem is in department or agency, then that will be placed in the actually regional or headed by secretary of committee. Then secretary will actually give his verdict whether this development should be taken or not. So if in local areas, suppose any hazardous or any reckless actually project has been taken, then the district magistrate in local district, they can impose fine first. First, they will alert them not to do such things, and if not actually done properly, then they will impose penalties and will also impose punishment also. So there's the problem, and other problem is that the actually geospatial data, according to our special depth or delta plane and perspective plane, others lots of plane, but the main problem is that data coordination. That in one places we don't have the data available. Whenever we have a project, public project or private project, we depend on the actually open source data that creates some hazard. So geospatial data is inevitable to implement the actually planned cities following the actual ordinance. It's an act, that means act and ordinance same. So now it's vital for Bangladesh that any organization, whether it is public department, private department, or any public entity or private entity, they have to follow this act, otherwise he will be punished. So the data, available data and actually reliable data is an important issue in our country. And third is that, yes, slum dwellers, our transport systems actually is not up to the mark. As you know that the people in Dhaka city, 3.5 crore, actually it's difficult for the government also in some cases to actually provide transport, public transport and other transport system. That creates a hazard for the ongoing project. Suppose some slum dwellers or any actually unplanned areas, people actually use traffic. That's not actually, suppose what do you say in our country, that rickshaw puller or actually some motor vehicle that's not registered. So on the road, there is lots of unregistered traffic. So how you can plan? Suppose, yes, you will impose punishment, but they don't dare this punishment. Whether because they have to earn to mouth. So without having such traffic, they cannot even earn. That's why sometimes rickshaw puller or unregistered vehicles are there. But nowadays, government is actually having a plan to resettle them out of the Dhaka city. There's a problem also in our country. So in Dhaka city and also in mega city like Chattogram and Cox's is a very important city. It's a coastal area. It's actually natural calamities is also another issue. That's supposed to you have a plan, good, nice plan, but natural calamities like cyclones several times and flood and also landslide is a very actually common in our country in actually southern part adjacent to Bay of Bengal, Cox's Bazar, Chattogram, Khulna. So development authority like Khulna, Chattogram, Cox's Bazar actually are taking plans, but due to natural disasters sometimes, yes, it's a great flow and there's problem in our country, and we are trying to actually build a resilient development with the support of the development agencies. Now in Cox's Bazar, we have a sinking cities project with the support from UNESCAPE, and we also hope that UN Habitat and also our good friend Japan JICA project, lots of project in Cox's Bazar. So it's a tremendous series actually standing beside the Bay of Bengal. The natural beauty is so nice, and development is going on in Cox's Bazar and Chattogram. So yes, development is here, but natural calamities is a actually common phenomenon in Cox's Bazar and Chattogram. So and at this moment, how to resilient, how to build actually climate resilient cities. We are trying to learn from the experience, best experience from outside the country, and UNESCAPE and UNOPS also are participating in the project. So with the support from the UNESCAPE, the people and the development authority and the officials from Cox's Bazar and Chattogram will learn. Right now this project is going on, and capacity building, training, and some protection like how to actually protect this city, the sinking cities. So I think, I hope that yes, sooner or later that Cox's Bazar will be the actually nicest place actually of the world, and this is a beautiful this place. And Bangladesh obviously should actually focus on Cox's Bazar, to actually be resilient cities and to protect these cities from natural calamities and also man-made calamities. But the Dhaka city is the man-made, but Cox's Bazar and Chattogram actually natural, actually prone accidental areas. So we're trying to protect these cities. Thank you so much. Thank you for patient hearing.
Thank you very much, Mr. Awang. So, Ms. Jane, what is the challenge in India?
I did specify 3 key challenges of national capital region planning in India, but I would just summarize them again. One being is the weak coordination between the different participating states. Like I mentioned, that this plan is, this region is comprised of 4 different participating states, and when they're not able to coordinate or agree on certain things, that only delays the process, and it takes time. And that's also one of the reasons why the plan period is 20 years and not shorter, like in case of Japan, which is 10 years. And that creates another set of challenge, because by the time the plans are ready to be revised, which is 20 years, the challenges have completely changed, and the situations have really, demographic situations or the economic situations have really changed from what it started with. Another key challenge is about the weak implementation of the NCR plans by the National Capital Region Planning Board. And like the officials of that organization say that we are a statutory body, but we have no teeth. So the enforcement is weak, and they are not able to implement, because especially the land use plans, when they prepare these plans and they try to implement it, the participating states do not comply, and they do not have enough capacity to do regular checks and make sure that those plans are being adhered to in accordance with the regional planning. And the participating states are pretty clear that the scales are different, and so it becomes like a vicious circle. First, they do not coordinate well, and when then the plan is given to them, they're not following it. Third point is about the lack of participation, which I would not say is a lack of participation. It's a top-down approach. It's basically they're not invited to participate. So I think that becomes a critical challenge, especially with the private sector participation, because once these plans are formulated, once the functional plans are formulated of certain sectors, for example, the rapid rail transport or housing, and private sector is invited to participate and actually develop the areas or develop the infrastructure, they were never consulted, and then they face the challenge of actually realizing that plan. So yeah, those are the 3, I would say, are the key challenges. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Jiang. So finally, Mr. Ranawaka, what is the challenge in Sri Lanka?
Thank you. Thank you. Actually, in my presentation, I like to, although I like to highlight some challenges at the time constraint. So, in our physical plans, although we have identified some resettlement proposals, always, the public is reluctant to relocate, due to strong social ties or the livelihood dependencies, or otherwise maybe the land ownerships. So due to those issues, actually mostly public reluctant to relocate. Then the other one is the environmental destruction, mainly due to unplanned development, leads some deforestation like wetland filling, sometimes maybe coastal damages. These things are undermining the sustainable planning goals as well. So the next one that I can highlight is the high population density. That when we are coming into the regional balance, regional development, the high population density is a key challenge that we have identified. That, for example, in our country, the population density as a country is 355 persons per square kilometer. You know, in some areas it goes up to 400 to 500. In hill country, in that popular places, it goes up to 2,000 even. You know, you can see that the high population density is a challenge. And the other thing is the high poverty. You know that economic vulnerability limits people's ability to comply with zoning, relocation and development controls. I mean, sometimes this in this our countries, the hilly area is the sometimes contributed the highest GDP to the country, but still the people are poor people in these places. You know that we have to think about those things as well. And the other thing, as the others said, the lack of integrated policy and the institution framework for urban management. Specifically, that although the National Physical Planning Department has prepared the national planning for the country, they have no power to enforce that plan in the country. They have only the supervision power. And the other thing is the political willingness. You know that sometimes the regional politicians, they have some kind of vote base. You know that they are not sometimes promoting the regional plans as well. I mean, those things that I can highlight it as the main challenges that we are facing in our country. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ranawaka. And thank you very much for your answer. I realize although the context of the four countries are different, but we are facing many of the same challenges in regional planning. And learning from other countries' experience can offer many practical insight for overcoming these challenges. And I also feel strongly that we should continue this kind of exchange and work together to strengthen the implementation capacity of regional planning. So with that, I'd like to close this panel discussion. Thank you very much to all the panelists, and thank you to everyone for your participation.